So I have picked up a lot of things to help amend the clay soil in the backyard to hopefully get grass seeds started. I'm gonna get started on that. First, I'm gonna rake everything that we have to kind of wake up the soil, aerate it a little bit, and get it prepared for the rain tomorrow. And then I'm gonna add some lime amendment, and I'm also gonna add, I got a combination of things. So I've got organic garden soil, organic compost, bat guano, worm castings, just a whole mix of things along with grass seed to hopefully get the backyard feeling like an oasis with lush greenery on the ground. Very excited for that. I'm going to turn the volume down on this background noise from when I recorded the video. Initially, I thought it would be really lovely, just the rake noises, the birds chirping, the breeze. I love the sound of the outdoors. But as you can probably already tell throughout this video, there are so many spots where the noise pollution from living in the city is just overwhelming the audio of this video. And that's one of my main concerns with our back garden and with our home right now. So when we first moved into this home 8.5 years ago, it was really quiet. It was on a really quiet street. Well, 3 houses down from us, the government bought and demolished a ton of the houses in our neighborhood and built this giant road through the neighborhood. It's probably 3 lanes each way, 2 or 3 lanes each way, and then turn lanes. So it's like this giant 6-lane road right next to our house now, just a few houses down. And that road brought a ton of traffic down our little street. And so now we get all this noise constantly with people driving by and driving really recklessly too. It's supposed to be 25 miles an hour down our street, and people just fly by now that there's that busy road right next to us, because we get a ton of traffic now that doesn't live there, and they don't really care about safety or noise or any of that for us. So it's really been a shame. And one thing I'm hoping to do with this garden is to really kind of create some noise barrier and add that sense of privacy back that we used to have, where you hear nature instead of a ton of cars. Kitty, are you coming to help? Hi, are you coming to help? I also have mushroom compost over there, so that should be really fun to try out. And then maybe you could tell a difference between some of the area that hasn't been thatched and some that has. So here we've got an area that has not been raked at all. And then if we go over here, you can see where the ground is slightly darker. This has been raked. So I don't know, it's hard to tell because the raking doesn't get all this, but it does just kind of loosen up the clay soil a little bit. Not like a tiller would, which is probably what I would choose to have for the job, but fiance doesn't want to take that many steps yet. He wants to try more simple solutions before we get into just sodding. Hey, that's the neighbor's yard. Cats, I'll tell you, they just do not understand boundaries at all. Rude. I'm going to tease the neighbor's dogs over there, probably. Very rude. My main method in laying down all of these amendments was basically to mix it together in the wheelbarrow and then get it down on the ground and use a rake to spread it out. And I'm trying to do thin layers. Since this video was recorded, I've learned a lot about regenerative agriculture and things like that. And I'm really excited to dive more into that in the future when trying to amend my soil, because this subdivision was built up on really hard, thick clay. And the clay is very, very difficult to work with, and it doesn't grow things well. It's so dense. And then in the summer, it becomes so hot here that it kind of cracks up and looks very deserty. So it's definitely not ideal. And I've been learning a lot to try to figure out how I can grow not just grass or clover, flowers, vegetables, trees, all that sort of thing, trying to figure out how to really help the earth repair and heal with all the stuff that was added on top of it here and all the ways that people have kind of used the area in a way that doesn't really help the earth at all and doesn't lend itself to having a beautiful garden and yard and that sort of thing. I think my idea of what this space can be is really lovely and lush and full of greenery, flowers, vegetables. I've got a lot of dreams and such, but for right now, I'm just trying to do what I can, add a little bit of amendment on top of the soil, and hopefully that goes well. I figure if I add a little bit each year, it'll make small improvements to that clay soil over time. So hopefully you can see the difference here between the part where I have just lightly put the mixture on top and used the very back of the metal rake to kind of spread it over the patches of clay, and then here you can see where I've actually integrated it in with the clay, and then I use the rake the correct way to mix it in with the clay right here. So you can kind of see how that's been amended together, and then the hope is that something will have a good result. So I'm going to plant some grass seed on top. I'm going to add more soil first, and well, the soil mixture with the organic compost and the lime and a few other things, and plant some grass seed on top, and we'll see what happens. Is that what you want, just to explore? So I've got it down. I'm going to do a little bit of grass seed on top, and I hope to check in like a week and see some germination happening with that grass seed. And just really hoping to see this lawn transform this summer. And I don't really care if it's the weeds or grass or something else, as long as it's covered in lush greenery that's soft. That would be really awesome. I know my fiance cares. He only wants grass. He does not want the weeds. I personally don't care. I just don't like the patchiness of it. I want it to all just kind of be green and together and not have all these red clay patches in it.